Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Welcome to today's weekly Sohbet and Dhikr on this, the 3rd of June 2021. Now in June. The year's going past, already in the 6th month of the year. Hard to believe. It's things go so fast these days. But alhamdulillah. I hope everybody is well, wherever you're tuning into this from. And if you are not, if things aren't going so well for you, I mean, my thoughts and prayers go out to you and to everyone who is going through difficulties at the moment or has been. We are living in testing times, no doubt. And, you know, there's different kinds of tests that people face in this world, different things which affect them. I was originally going to discuss something else today, but earlier this morning, it came to my attention that a young lady who has made some comments that were probably not meant to be taken too serious has had an awful lot of people criticizing her on the internet through various social media channels. And it's rather disturbing, especially when we see some of the criticism and what she's being accused of. I mean, the young lady in question makes no claims to be a scholar of Islam. She hasn't written a new book on fiqh. She hasn't made any fatwa. And yet people are accusing her of being a puppet of the West and accusing her of changing Islam, being an enemy of Islam, even being an enemy of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. And what did this young woman say that was so terrible? Well, let's see. Here it is. I still don't understand why people have to get married. If you want to have a person in your life, why do you have to sign marriage papers? Why can't it just be a partnership? Her mother, like most mothers, disagrees. My mum is like, Malala laughs. Don't you dare say anything like that. You have to get married. Marriage is beautiful. Now, so what Malala actually said, according to this article in Vogue, I still don't understand why people have to get married. Now, that is a statement. It's true. She doesn't understand why people have to get married. If you want to have a person in your life, why do you have to sign marriage papers? Why can't it just be a partnership? Now, we got to think about this. This is a young lady who is 23 years old. She'll be 24 next month. Now, what were you discussing when you were 23 or 24? Did you have it all worked out? Did you have an in-depth knowledge of Islam? Did you have an in-depth knowledge of marriage and relationships and what is best for human beings? I mean, this is a woman who, she was thrust into the limelight as a result of getting shot by the Taliban simply because she was going to school and she wanted an education. So people who are criticizing her for not having an education about Islam should remember she ended up in the West because the Taliban tried to kill her for trying to get an education, for going to school. You know, don't you think about that? Don't you think about why she ended up here in the West in the first place? And why she had to pursue her studies in the West? I mean, if things had been safe where she was living and there was no Taliban, and she could have gone to school and had a good education, she would have had her education there. And she wouldn't be thrust into the world's limelight as a person campaigning for the education of girls in Pakistan. Why is she campaigning for the education of girls in Pakistan? If there wasn't an issue, and if all girls in Pakistan had good access to education, which I may add in Islam is their right, then she wouldn't have ended up here. She wouldn't be doing what she's doing. And then when she was denied an education in that part of Pakistan where she was living, somehow people expected to have an in-depth knowledge of Islam. I mean, seriously, do people think about what they're actually saying? You expect her to be highly knowledgeable about Islam when the Taliban prevented her from going to school where she lived in Pakistan. Does that make sense? You know, how are you supposed to get a knowledge of Islam without studying Islam? Or without even having, I mean, if she'd have stayed in Pakistan and if she had survived and not been shot, she may not have had an education at all. Certainly in that part of Pakistan. I'm not saying this is true across all of Pakistan. I'm sure it isn't. But in that part of Pakistan where the Taliban were operating, they were preventing girls from going to school. So how was she supposed to get an education? Is she supposed to like magically understand things without being educated? It's true. I have met people over the years who seem to think that they know a lot when they haven't studied. They haven't researched. They haven't read books. They haven't listened to scholars. And somehow they think that just because they have a Muslim name and were born into a traditionally Muslim family, that they know about Islam. I know the people who think the same about other subjects. And they just talk. They just talk. They've never read anything. Never listened to any scholars. Well, how can you claim to have knowledge if you've not studied? People are also criticizing her because she's someone campaigning for education, and then she's speaking her mind based upon what she's learned. Which, firstly, an education for girls, it is something which is, Salam, alaikum. An education for girls is something which is a girl's right within Islam. You know, the greatest struggle of the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ throughout his life, what was it? Some people have this imagination that he was going on jihad every day and fighting people. Astaghfirullah. The only time the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ took arms was when he was under attack and his community were under attack. And even then, not the first ones. Only later on when he was leader of Medina. No, the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ's greatest struggle, it was against Jahiliyyah. And what is Jahiliyyah? Jahiliyyah means ignorance. The time of ignorance before Islam. But wallahi, I tell you, you are now living in a time of ignorance after Islam. If you think you've got it all sorted and you think you understand Islam, especially with some of the things I've heard over the past 21 years since I embraced Islam, if you have these sort of ideas, Like girls shouldn't be educated, that women are only to get married and have babies, and their other rights are being denied to them. You are living in Jahiliyyah. The Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam empowered women. How do we know this? Okay, you probably think, oh, no, this is a white guy from the West, and he's just a Western puppet, like you think Malala is. Yes, okay, I'm a white guy from the West. I can't help that. I'm an Englishman. This is where I was born. But I tell you what, it's my education in the West that gave me a foundation to be able to research and understand things. The West gave me an education, just like the West has given Malala an education. What is the standard of education in many predominantly Muslim countries around the world? Where are the Oxford, Cambridge, and Harvard equivalents within predominantly Muslim countries? Alhamdulillah, we still have Al-Azhar. But by and large, the standard of education in a lot of Muslim countries leaves a lot to be desired. You wonder why the West and now China and other countries are moving forward and making progress and developing. This development comes from education. If you have substandard education in your country, and that substandard education is only available to boys, and girls are not properly educated, you are not going to have a successful country. Because everything else in the world, all of our businesses, our technologies, our sciences, even the social sciences of how to run your country properly, good governance, good systems in place for water and other water and fuel and other supplies and things that you need in your society to make sure all of this is run properly. This is all from education. If the education is substandard, your science will be substandard, which will mean your technology is substandard, which means that your systems, everything that is in your country is going to be substandard, and your business is going to be substandard. And simply put, you are not going to be able to compete in the world. Education is one of the most vital things, which is why the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam put so much emphasis on education. So much so that even during those battles that did happen during his lifetime, and when he took prisoners of war, which he made sure his people looked after and gave them water and food and didn't oppress them and didn't persecute them. But those prisoners of war, he actually said, if you teach, I think it was 10 people, you can go free. Wallahi, which country in the world today, if they took prisoners of war, would say, if you can teach 10 people, then you can go free? Just educate 10 people and you can go free. Which country in the world would do that? This shows the amount of emphasis that the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ put on education. Education is so crucial to the development of any society. It is vital to being able to resolve any issues which you have within your society. And because Malala is a champion of education within Pakistan, and she is a woman, and she has learned her education in the West because it wasn't provided for her in her own country, she is being picked upon by internet trolls and all sorts of other people who just don't like her. This is not right. If people wonder why I spoke up about it, it's simply put, it's not right. Why should a 23-year-old woman be picked upon like this? And a comment that she made that really isn't anything wrong with it. If some guy made this comment, nobody would say anything. If some Pakistani guy said the same thing, If you want to have a person in your life, why do you have to sign marriage papers? Why can't it just be a partnership? Nobody would say a thing. It is simply because she is a Pakistani woman, and she just happens to be that Pakistani woman who survived the Taliban and got educated in the West. And anyone who can't see through that, well, you are blind. And it's not a good foundation upon which to build your society. The foundation must be upon education. If you have a disagreement with Malala, you don't just say, oh, she is a puppet of the West. And whether it's Malala or anybody else, you have to listen to their point of view. And if there is something you specifically disagree with, then make an educated response. Not a response that, oh, well, she must be a kafir, or she doesn't understand the deen. She hasn't said anything wrong. She hasn't said she wants to play the field and be promiscuous or anything like that. People are assuming these things. Some people are even saying within Islam, you must get married. Well, actually, no, you don't have to. Islam recommends marriage. It highly recommends it. This is true. But it doesn't say you have to get married. The Prophet Muhammad didn't command people, you must get married. And if you don't get married, you're not a Muslim, or you're a puppet of the kafir. He never said this. You think he said this? Show me where he said this. Prophet Muhammad never said this. So before you criticize someone else about having a bad understanding of Islam, perhaps you should work on your own understanding of Islam. Because if you do not have a good understanding of Islam yourself, then why are you picking up on other people and suggesting that they don't understand Islam? You know, the pot calling the kettle black. But either way, just airing these thoughts and asking the question, why do people have to get married? It's a question, it's questioning, it is reflecting, which is quite normal for a young person in their 20s. I'm sure lots of people who are listening to this now will have done exactly the same thing, whether about marriage or about something else. And it doesn't mean that they are promoting haram. It doesn't mean that they are encouraging people to be bad. It doesn't mean that they are an enemy of Islam. They are just having a conversation. She never wrote a fatwa on this. She never claimed to be an authority on Islam to write a fatwa on this. You're all making assumptions. And why I pick this up? Well, it's not just Malala. I have seen the same thing with one person or another person over the past 21 years that I've embraced Islam. And even myself have been the victim of this at various times, just because I have highlighted something. And sometimes the very thing I've highlighted, my position has been more based on classical Islamic teachings than those criticizing me. And it is from a perspective of ignorance of Islam that they have been criticizing me. But then they are trying to stand on the high ground and saying that because we are traditional Muslims, that we know what we are talking about. Well, look, it doesn't matter if your name is Abdul Malik or Muhammad or Abdul Rahman or, you know, and your parents were Muslims. It doesn't matter. It doesn't mean that you know Islam any better than anybody else. There are scholars in the West that know Islam a lot better than a lot of people born into traditionally Muslim families. And I'm not saying there's no scholars within the East either. Of course there are. But to be a scholar, you have to have studied. You have to have sat with people who are knowledgeable. You have to have read books. You have to have done your research. Even I am shy sometimes. After 21 years of what I have read and studied and listened to, I am shy at times of putting my own views forward. Because I know whatever I have learned and studied is still a drop in the ocean. And why am I aware of that is because of the fact that the past 21 years, I have been delving into Imam al-Ghazali, into Maulana Rumi, into Ibn Arabi, into Sahih al-Bukhari, into the Muwatta, into Ibn Khaldun, into all these different sources and resources that, alhamdulillah, we are so blessed with as a deen. And yet, the more I read, the more I realize how little I know. But at least I read. At least I sit with scholars and listen to what they have to say. A lot of the people who are doing all of this trolling online about Islam and claiming to be very good Muslims, they have hardly read. And they are not nearly as knowledgeable as what they claim. And it is sad that people who do not study, who do not understand the deen, put themselves forward as if they do. Like I said, after 21 years, even I am shy. But when I see some of the things I see, I feel compelled that I have to say something. Because the Prophet Muhammad ﷺ said in a hadith that if you see something which is wrong, you should try to stop it. And if you cannot stop it, then you should speak out about it. And if you're unable to do that, then you should at least feel bad in your heart. But this is the least of them. So it is a duty upon a Muslim who understands to do something. This is true. But at the same time, you have to be careful about what you do. And it's not right to troll someone, whether that be Malala or anybody else, especially when it's based upon a comment that is obviously taken out of context. And to base your entire view of that person upon a comment that has been taken out of context, there is no basis for this within Islam. This is ignorance. It really disappoints me, and I know I'm not alone when I see these things. I hear all the time from people who contact me and tell me how disappointed they are. And even some of the people who have platforms, who are Mulanas and Imams, at times they come out with the most outrageous things without thinking them through beforehand. I am not saying all Imams and all Mulanas, but there are those who do this. And when people have a platform and they make condemnatory remarks about a person, about an individual, it can be very harmful, especially when they have a big following of loyal followers. It would not be the first time that someone has been killed because some Mulana or Imam has come out and said something very negatively about someone and suggested they are an enemy of the Prophet or an enemy of Islam. And that person has been murdered. And even if it doesn't get that far when they're attacked, it's still These things should not be happening. What kind of Islam is this? Have we forgotten that the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam was sent by Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala as the rahmat lil alamin, the mercy to all of the worlds? Where is the mercy? Where is the compassion? Where is the forgiveness? I mean, on this particular issue, it's laughable, because what Malala said is, it's obviously a comment taken out of hand. It's not even that bad. And people are even calling her an enemy of the Prophet Muhammad because of this. I mean, if you don't think something is wrong when that is happening, where is your understanding of the deen? Where is your understanding of what is appropriate behavior? Traditionally, scholars of Islam and Sufi sheikhs as well, they always started from the basis of adab, of having good respect and manners, of not jumping to conclusions, of trying to remain calm, thinking things through before you act, and not jumping to conclusions. This is traditional within Islam. I mean, you also look at the setup within Ahl Sunnah wal Jamaat, where there are many madhab, actually, historically, and maybe even today there may still be more than 4 Sunni madhab. But there are obviously 4 main Sunni madhab, which are international and all around the world. And traditionally, scholars from one madhab would meet scholars from another madhab, and they would discuss things. And they wouldn't condemn the people from the other madhab for having a different perspective. They wouldn't say that they are not Muslims. They wouldn't even say that their Islam is completely wrong. They would say, well, we have a different understanding on this particular issue. And the reason we have this is we have based this upon this ayah from the Quran and this hadith, and also some aspects of the local culture where we live, or something along these lines. And the other scholars representing the other perspective would say the same thing with the ayah of Quran that they're referencing, and the hadiths that they're referencing, or something from the seerah, or whatever it is they're referencing. And they wouldn't be condemning each other and saying you are out of the fold of Islam because you have a different approach. You see, some of these people out there today, they are talking about, why aren't the Muslims united? Well, how can Muslims be united? How can Muslims be united? You tell me, brothers and sisters, how can Muslims be united when some little small issue comes along and people are saying, astaghfirullah, that person is a puppy to the West, or that person is outside of Islam? We can't even discuss things, brothers and sisters. We can't even discuss things without people saying, oh, he's different. He's not following what we're following. He's doing something else. Now, this is the real reason that Ummah isn't united. There's zero tolerance. No one tolerates differences of opinion. No one tolerates different perspectives. No one tolerates people just discussing ideas that maybe they're just going to stay as ideas. They're never going to implement, but they're discussing them. They're sharing their thoughts. But as soon as people do this, they are judged. And that's what's really going on. They are being judged. And people are coming to quick judgments about other people without carefully considering everything that that person is doing as far as they are aware. They don't even do that. They just jump to a conclusion. They hear something they don't like, astaghfirullah. Well, this is a big problem. And it's no wonder that there is no unity in the Ummah when Muslims are behaving like this towards each other. It's no wonder that we have problems within the world today that as Muslims we're not able to resolve. Because there is no unity. And there is no unity because there is no tolerance, there is no understanding, let alone love for our fellow brothers and sisters within Islam. There are, of course, those of us who do our best to be like that, to have understanding, tolerance, and love for everyone. But as a percentage of Muslims today, how many of us are there? And how many are intolerant? How many are harsh? How many don't give their brothers and sisters a chance even to explain themselves before they rush to judgment? Wallahi, may Allah forgive us. May Allah forgive us all and guide us. Because this is not the Islam of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam had amazing tolerance and understanding towards everybody, even people who were big sinners. And today we don't even have tolerance or understanding for our brothers and sisters in Islam who are trying their best to do something constructive with their lives. And often the biggest critics are not very constructive themselves. How often do they think about what they are contributing to the world before they jump to conclusions about their brothers and sisters within Islam? And then, of course, I mean, that's how we're treating fellow Muslims. But when it gets beyond that, people from wider society get even more criticized, whether they are, Jewish or Christian or Buddhist. It's not the way. Someone said to me earlier when I put something out in regards to Malala, and they said she's a puppy to the West. And I shared this ayah from the Quran, which I will share with you all now. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. This is from the translation by Dr. Safi Kaskas. Righteousness is not a matter of turning your faces eastward or westward. Rather, righteousness is believing in God and the last day, and the angels and the book and the prophets, giving money for the love of him to relatives, orphans, the poor, stranded travelers, beggars, and to free slaves, performing prayers, paying the purifying alms, keeping promises, and enduring misery and hard times in time of threat. It is they who have proved themselves true, and it is they who are mindful of God. I leave you with that ayah, because I think that really highlights how a Muslim should be. Muslims are people who have big hearts, who are caring, who are understanding. And they're less focused on rituals and more on being a good human being. You can't be a good Muslim if you are not a good human being. And of course, all of us have improvement to make in that. But we should be striving on self-improvement and on being a better human being. And if we focus on that, and if we had a significant percentage of Muslims around the world who focused on that, then we would build unity. We would build more tolerant communities. And we would make progress. This is also written in the Quran that Allah doesn't improve the condition of a people until they change themselves. We are responsible for our circumstances. We are responsible for the situation that we find ourselves in today, where Muslims are by and large disempowered and not, significant in the wider world as what we should be. With 1.61 billion Muslims on this earth, Muslims should be a lot more successful, a lot more prominent than what we see. But we see a world dominated by Christians, Jews, atheists. Well, why is that? See, we need to try and understand why that is. I was watching a documentary on PBS America the other day, and it was about Constantinople. And it's quite interesting because in that documentary, the presenter highlighted that long before Constantinople was conquered by Muslims, it was already falling apart from within. The real death blows to Constantinople were not inflicted by the Turks. They were inflicted by crusaders that were sent east to fight against the Muslims. But when they went to Constantinople, crusaders destroyed the city. They were fighting their fellow Christians because they were partly driven by jealousy, partly driven by religious fervor and thinking that they had a better Christianity, partly driven by madness. But whatever their motivations, it was they who weakened Constantinople and paved the way for the Turks to successfully conquer it later on. And this was discussed in a mainstream documentary on PBS America. Now, if that was the situation of Constantinople, look at Muslims today. Muslims attacking each other. Whenever they see another Muslim that's doing well, and perhaps doing things slightly differently, they try to rubbish them and pull them down. And they try to destroy what they're doing. These are the very things which destroyed Constantinople for the Christians. And today we see the same things happening among Muslims. It's no use blaming other people. If you don't do what you can yourself to develop yourself as a human being and to achieve your potential and to support other people within your community and within your spheres of influence. This is what Jewish people do. This is what Christian people do. It's what even atheists do. This is why we see more of them being successful in this time. But it's actually within our deen to be like this. These are the teachings of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. These are the teachings we find in the Quran. But Muslims are not acting upon these things. And instead, they are, well, backbiting, which is likened to eating the flesh of their brothers and sisters within Islam. And then you wonder why we have problems. Don't blame Malala. Don't blame the West. May Allah forgive us. I'm going to leave it there. But please, reflect on what I've said. Think about this, because it is a huge problem, and it is one that I've witnessed time and time again over the past 21 years since I embraced Islam. People have asked me why I am a Muslim. And I have said at times, well, if it was because of Muslims, I probably wouldn't be a Muslim, but Allah guided me to this thing. And I understand what Islam really is supposed to be. So I don't look at the people as what some people are doing. But if I did, I wouldn't find too much inspiration among a lot of today's Muslims. And that is tragic. May Allah forgive and guide us all. Bismillah. Before we start any dhikr, we should always check our intentions. It's basically checking your heart is pure and you're doing it for the sake of Allah, or as best as possible along those lines. Nawaitu abin, nawaitu usta, nawaitu kalwa, nawaitu itikaf, nawaitu suluk, nawaitu riyadda lillahi ta'ala fi hada jami'. And we begin by reciting the declaration of faith. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. Ashhadu an la ilaha illallah wa ashhadu anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. أشهد أن لا إله إلا الله وأشهد أن محمدا عبده ورسوله. We seek Allah's forgiveness by reciting Astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. Astaghfirullah, 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 astaghfirullah. أستغفر الذي الذي لا إله إلا هو الحي القيوم وأتوب إليه إنه هو التواب الرحيم يا مسبب الأسباب يا مفاتح الأبواب يا مقرب القلوب والأبصار يا دلائل المتخيرين يا كيف مستخيف يا حي يا قيوم يا ذو الجلال والإكرام وأفرد أمري الله إن الله بصيرا بالعباد رب تشريفا. Direct your hearts to the hearts of your Sheikh, spiritual teacher. Al-Fatiha Sharifa. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. Salawatu Shukr. Blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad and his family. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala Ali Muhammad wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammad wa ala آل محمد وسلم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى sorry. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم 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 اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح الشريف. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي عنك وزرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن ونص يسرا إن ونص يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب إلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي عنك وزرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن نص يسرا إن نص يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب إلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي عنك وزرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن نص يسرا إن نص يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب إلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي عنك وزرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن نص يسرا إن نص يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب إلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي عنك وزرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن نص يسرا إن نص يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب إلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا عنك وزرك الذي عنك وزرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن نص يسرا إن نص يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب إلى ربك فارغب. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم ألم نشرح لك صدرك ووضعنا وزرك الذي أنقض ظهرك ورفعنا لك ذكرك فإن مع العسر يسرا إن مع العسر يسرا فإذا فرغت فانصب وإلى ربك فارغب. إخلاص الشريفة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم قل هو الله أحد الله الصمد لم يلد ولم يولد ولم يكن له كفوا أحد. فاتحة الشريفة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. صلوات الشريفة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. 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 اللهم صل على وعلى آل محمد وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد 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 وعلى آل محمد وسلم. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. رابع فاتيتني من الملك ولم تني من تولي حديث فاتر السماوات والأرض أنت ولي في الدنيا والآخرة توفاني مسلما ولكني بالصالحين. آمنا بالله صدق الله العظيم. سبحان ربك ربي ذات ما يصفون والسلام على المرسلين والحمد لله رب العالمين. إلا الشرف النبي وعلي والسابق الكرام وإلى والي أنبياء ومرسلين وكرماء شرائم وإلى إمات أبواب وإلى مشيخنا في تاريخ نقشبنديات عالية قصة إلى آريك وجغان فاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. فلما نقول لا إله إلا الله 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 محمد رسول الله عليه الصلاة لا إله إلا الله محمد النبي الله عليه الصلاة لا إله إلا الله لا إله إلا الله محمد الحبيب الله لا إله إلا 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 الله. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل والحول ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. إلا الصراط في نبي صلى وعلي وأصحابه الكرام وإلى الله سلسلتين وصديقيون الفاتحة. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين. Dhikr Jalala, the remembrance of God, in Arabic, Allah. Allah, 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 حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا لا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. حق 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 حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. هاي 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 hey, 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 hey. حسبنا الله ونعم الوكيل ولا قوة إلا بالله العلي العظيم. الله الله حق 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 Allahu Allah Hak, Allahu Allah Hak, Allahu Allah Hay, 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 Allah Hay Ya Qayyum, 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 Allah Hay Ya Qayyum. Calling upon the beautiful names of Allah. Yahu, Yahu, Yadaim. Yahu, Yahu, Yadaim. Yahu, Yahu, Yadaim. Allah, Yahu, Yadaim. Yadaim, 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 Ya Allah. Yadaim, 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 Ya Allah. Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Allah. Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Halim, Ya Allah. Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Allah. Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Hafiz, Ya Allah. Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Allah. Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Latif, Ya Allah. Ya Ghafar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Ghafar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Ghafar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Ghafar, Ya Ghafur, Ya Sata, Ya Fata, Ya Sata, Ya Fata, Ya Sata, Ya Fata, Ya Fata, Ya Fata. Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Allah. Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Mujib, Ya Allah. Ya Muin, Ya Muin, Ya Muin, Ya Allah. Ya Muin, Ya Muin, Ya Muin, Ya Allah. Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Allah. Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Mughith, Ya Allah. Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Allah. Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Wadud, Ya Allah. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim. Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahman, Ya Rahim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim, Ya Rahim, Ya Karim. Ya Hanan, Ya Manan, Ya Hanan, Ya Manan, Ya Hanan, Ya Manan, Ya Hannan, Ya Mannan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan, Ya Dayyan, Ya Subhan, Ya Subhan, Ya Sultan, Ya Subhan, Ya Sultan, Ya Subhan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Allah, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Sultan, Ya Allah. Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Allah. Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Aman, Ya Allah. Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Allah. Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Salam, Ya Allah. Ya Allah, 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 Ya Allah. Hasbunallahu wa ni'mal wakil wa la quwwata illa billahil aliyyil azim. Wa alaikum assalam wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuh. Bismillahirrahmanirrahim. Salawatul Sharif, calling for blessings upon the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his noble family. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala ali Muhammadin wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Muhammadin wa ala آل محمد وسلم اللهم صل على محمد وعلى 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 آل محمد وسلم. على أشرف نبينا سيدنا محمد الصلوات على أبطال نبينا سيدنا محمد الصلوات على أكمال نبينا سيدنا محمد الصلوات صلوات الله وملائكته وأنبيائه ورسوله وجميع خلقه رضا محمد وعلى آل محمد عليه وعليهم السلام ورحمة الله وبركاته ورضي الله تبارك وتعالى عن سادتنا شعب رسول الله أجمعين وعن تبينا بهم بإحسان ونعمة مجتدين أمردين ولعلماء المتقين ولأولياء الصالحين ومشيخنا في طريقة نقشبندية تيارية كرسنا وتلاهم الزكية ونولات تلاجة بركة ودلوت علينا من بركاتهم وفيوداتهم دائما والحمد لله رب العالمين. الفاتحة. بسم الله الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. اللهم صل على محمد وعلى آل محمد وسلم. Ya Allah, we ask you to shower your blessings upon the soul of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam and his noble family, his noble ancestors and his noble descendants, all the previous prophets and their noble ancestors and their noble descendants. especially the family of the Prophet Muhammad Sallallahu the Ahlul Bayt, especially Imams Ali, Hassan, Hussein, Zain al-Abidin, Jafar al-Sadiq, all of the Ahlul Bayt, and the Khilafa Rashideen, all of the Sahaba Ikram, the scholars and the saints, and especially my Sheikh Sufi Abdullah and Maulana Sheikh Nazim, Ya Allah, raise their stations in your divine presence and bless their souls for all eternity. Ya Allah, bless also Sheikh Sharif Hidayatullah, all of the Wali Songo, Sheikh Yusuf, Gusto, Sheikh Adang Badruddin, and my beloved father, and bless their souls in your divine presence, and raise their stations for all eternity. O Allah, shower your blessings upon my mum and my dad, upon my brothers and my sisters, upon all of our mothers and fathers, our brothers and sisters, our nieces and nephews, our cousins, our aunties and uncles, all, especially our beloved spouses and children. Ya Allah, we ask you to shower your blessings upon our families and our communities. Forgive us for our many sins, Ya Allah, and guide our hearts towards what you love, but towards those who love you. But guide our actions towards those actions which are pleasing to you. And forgive us for our many mistakes and slip-ups. Ya Allah, bless everyone in our communities, bless everyone in our countries, bless everyone in our Khibad family, and guide us towards that which is best, that which is good, that which is pleasing to you. Forgive us all for our many weaknesses. And Ya Allah, bless all the communities of life with which we share this earth. And inspire our hearts. And inspire leaders to support education. Inspire all our hearts to support education. Support women in our communities. Support those who are vulnerable or more in need. But forgive us for the times that we do not do this as much as we should. For the sake of the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa barak wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa barak wa sallim. Allahumma salli ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa ala ali Sayyidina Muhammad wa barak wa sallim. Salli Rabbi wa sallim ala jami' anbiya'i wa mursalin wa kulli ajma'in wa hamdulillahi rabbil alamin wa fatiha. Bismillahir rahmanir rahim. Alhamdulillahi rabbil alamin. Ar-Rahmanir Rahim, Maliki Yawmiddin. إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. اللهم بارك ثوابه وكونه ونور ما تولاه ونية ووسيلة من روح نبينا محمد صلى الله عليه وسلم وإلى أنبياء وإلى أولياء كستان روحي النقشبند وإلى الشيخ عبد الله فايز داغستاني وإلى زيد البياء وإلى صوفي عبد الله وإلى مولانا الشيخ نازم وإلى Gusto, وإلى الشيخ داغ بدرالدين وإلى الشيخ الشنقباني وإلى الشيخ بادشاه وإلى الشيخ حبيب الله وإلى الشيخ داود وإلى الشيخ محمد وإلى الشيخ نور وإلى الصلوي صدتين والصديقيون الفاتحة. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين الرحمن الرحيم مالك يوم الدين إياك نعبد وإياك نستعين اهدنا الصراط المستقيم صراط الذين أنعمت عليهم غير المغضوب عليهم ولا الضالين آمين. I will leave it there unless anybody has any questions. But if you find these live broadcasts, videos useful and my other posts, please don't forget to subscribe to my Facebook, Instagram, YouTube, and also my website, whichever channels which you use in order to connect with my what I put out. Ya Allah. Ya Allah, forgive me for any mistakes in what I have delivered. And any good is from Allah. The mistakes are my own. I wish everybody all the very best. Have a lovely evening if you're in the UK, or wherever you are in the world. May Allah bless you and have a wonderful day. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullah wa barakatuh.